Hello everybody and welcome to Pignet. If you're not familiar with my channel, nice to meet you. My name is Jessie. And today I'm drawing Nicktoons, specifically Nicktoons from the 90s. And before I begin, this question is for, I guess, kids, or maybe even high schoolers. Maybe you'd have a better idea of like what has been going on, but what happened to Nickelodeon? There was a period of time, I forgot if it was last year or what, and I don't have cable. I haven't had cable for a while, but so I decided to check the lineup, and I realized that several days straight, it was just SpongeBob. I'm kind of looking at it now. I'm looking at the lineup, and there's like 3 shows that they have like a few episodes of each playing. I guess my question is, what happened to Nickelodeon? Because when I was growing up in the 90s, it was like the network to watch for kids, and they had a bunch of different shows, a bunch of different types of shows, and what I'm seeing now is a couple of different shows that all have like 3 episodes each per day. Am I just crazy, or is this true? Is this like Nickelodeon is it dying? Like, what's happening to it? I saw this meme once because I'm a very nostalgic person, and I saw this meme that said, "I can't tell if I miss the 90s or if I just miss my childhood." And I feel like I was like, oh, maybe that's the problem, because I feel so nostalgic towards the 90s. I feel like a ton of 90s kids do. I feel like we have this bias that our decade, our childhood was the best one to grow up in, and I still definitely feel like that. 90s Nickelodeon, I feel like, was the best Nickelodeon, hands down. I mean, if you notice, one person in particular that I notice a lot is Bunny from Graveyard Girl. She is incredibly nostalgic towards the 90s too, because she was a 90s kid as well. She's just a few years older than me. And it's just something that 90s kids all have. They all miss the 90s so much. So 90s Nicktoons, I thought this would be really fun to do. I specifically chose a mix of the main characters and also like secondary characters because I wanted to be able to do this again. I didn't want to just use the main characters, so then like the next video it's just a bunch of the characters that weren't as popular. Also, while I did this one, I also did 9 instead of 12 like I did before. The reason I did that is so that the video would be a little slower because it just zips by so fast. If I could just cut out a few characters, that would just make it all a little slower so you can kind of see what's going on. I know that when it's sped up like this, it's like, you know, it just goes by like lightning, so this will be a little easier to see. I have the drawing in front of me right now, and I just kind of wanted to go through each of the characters and kind of talk about, briefly of course, talk about them, and the shows that they're corresponding to. Okay, Hey Arnold. I loved Hey Arnold. It was one of my favorite cartoons. I'm so happy that it's on Hulu because I definitely still watch it. I loved that Arnold had a very good moral compass. I love that he was a 4th grader, but he had the maturity level of being much older. And I loved the idea, the fact that he lived in that boarding house. Like, everyone in the 90s was jealous of Arnold's room. It was like this really cool room where way ahead of its time, like nothing you could ever imagine having, where he had a remote control that would make his couch pop out. His bedroom was in the top room, so it had all of the windows on the ceiling. I love that the sense of humor in Hey Arnold is still something that can be appreciated by adults. I remember in particular, my grandpa said that Hey Arnold was his favorite show to watch with us. The humor was something that could be enjoyed by everybody. Angelica Pickles is from Rugrats, if you're not familiar with Rugrats. Rugrats was my favorite TV show when I was very little. I have memories of watching it when I was, I think, 3 years old. It's kind of weird, actually. The music is very odd. If you watch it now, you didn't realize how weird the color schemes are, how weird the music is. Angelica was the main character, Tommy Pickles' cousin, and she was a bully. I didn't realize until now how similar her style is to the bully Helga from Hey Arnold. You know, purple dress, blonde pigtails. It seems like a common theme. Skeeter Valentine, I think that was his last name, from the show Doug. Doug is one of those shows that I remember, it was one of the older shows, so it stopped airing when I was young. Doug was another show that you didn't realize how kind of strange it was until you watch it as you're older. I feel like that's a common theme through all of these. Overall, I really liked Doug when it was airing, but looking back, it probably wasn't one of my favorites. I think that I've tried to watch episodes recently because it's also on Hulu, and I feel like I got kind of bored. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to try watching it again. Ren and Stimpy. This is Stimpy. It was a pretty raunchy show. I don't think this could ever air nowadays, but that was the beauty of the 90s. We got to be exposed to some of the stuff before it was banned from being shown to children. So Ren and Stimpy was definitely a show that kids could enjoy, but adults could also appreciate because the humor was probably not even meant for children. Ginger Foutley is one of my favorite 90s Nicktoon characters. As Told by Ginger was easily one of my favorite shows. It aired when I was in middle school. It was like the perfect timing for me because Ginger was around my age. It was about teenage problems, and I watched it recently. I watched it from start to finish last year, and I was like, man, that was a good show. Like, that was good. Oh, sorry, my heat just kicked on again. It had more to it than most shows would have. One thing that I really liked, I had mentioned this in a video a really long time ago, like last year. One thing I really, really loved about As Told by Ginger was that the characters each had probably 6 to 8 outfits that they looped, and as well as different hairstyles. And coming from an animation background, to change someone's outfit is so much work in animation. To just have to learn to draw that character in that outfit, it's so much extra work to put in. The fact that they put the time to change that was like, I recognize that even being a kid, I recognize like, wow, that's really cool. And I wish that more cartoons would do that. I also related to Ginger because she was an avid journaler. As you guys know, I love keeping a journal, so she wrote in her journal just like Doug did. Rocko's Modern Life was another earlier show. I actually have a negative association to Rocko because there are a few shows, and I don't know if this ever happened to you guys, but there are a few shows that came on before school, and I watched them every day before school, so Rocko was one of them. Actually, Dexter's Lab, if you're familiar with Dexter's Lab on Cartoon Network, that's the one that I actually have the worst association to because that was when I was in 3rd grade. I had the meanest of mean math teachers, and so that morning, say I had a test or something in math, I would be so petrified because you're so afraid of doing bad because she would make kids cry. She was so nasty. And so I remember the association I have to Dexter's Lab and also to Rocko is just being terrified about something going on with my assignments in school, having to wait for school to start and being at my house and like panicking. So, and meanwhile this show is playing. So when I think about Rocko, I actually get bad feelings inside, even though it was a great show. Once again, similar to Ren and Stimpy, it had some very inappropriate humor that adults would appreciate. Somehow they let it slide. Us kids were able to watch it, and I'm thankful for that. SpongeBob, everybody knows SpongeBob. I feel like I don't have to say anything about SpongeBob. I remember watching the previews of SpongeBob when they first were showing teasers of the show. You had no idea what the show was about. All you saw was, like, it was a very brief, like, SpongeBob. You know what I mean? Like, what is SpongeBob? If you don't know what it is, if you haven't already known what it was about, if you saw Spongebob Squarepants, you'd be like, what the heck is that, you know? So that was our teaser that we were given, was like, this guy's named SpongeBob, and that's all we knew, and we were like, what is this? I remember the new shows would always air right after the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, which was like an event in my life. I could not wait. I would always go over to my best friend's house and we would sit there that Saturday night and we would make snacks and like sit and watch the Kids' Choice Awards, and then they'd air the newest show that night that was going to premiere. So I remember when it was SpongeBob. I caught SpongeBob just on the tail end of my childhood, so SpongeBob premiered when I think I was in 5th grade, maybe 5th or 6th grade. So I was just getting to be a little too old for those kinds of shows. SpongeBob is hilarious. I understand why he's so popular. But I think I would have liked SpongeBob more if I watched it when I was very, very little instead of being like 10 and 11. Invader Zim is a show about an alien that comes to Earth. He's a kind of an outcast of an alien, and he gets sent to Earth as part of his duty to examine this different planet. So he disguises himself to fit in and examine these human beings at this school, and Invader Zim was hilarious. That was a fantastic show. Gurr was his little robot sidekick. Gurr was a lot of the part of the humor of the show. And unfortunately, I feel like Invader Zim only aired for a few seasons. The last one is from Rocket Power. This is Reggie Rocket. Rocket Power was a really cool show because it showed kids being really active. They were basically really good at every single sport. They surfed, they skateboarded, they rollerbladed, they played hockey. They did everything, and they lived along a beach somewhere. You watched it and you just wanted so badly to be like them because they were so cool and they were so active and so good at sports. And you just felt like a loser because you weren't like that, but at the same time it was inspiring. I thought it was good that it was a show that it just made me want to go out and like play sports. You know, that's a pretty good thing, I would say. I didn't want to feature shows that I didn't like growing up, so there are a few shows that I didn't really care for that were 90s Nickelodeon shows, and they were cartoons, but I never liked them, so I'm not going to draw them. So a few of those are The Wild Thornberrys. I don't know why. I never liked The Wild Thornberrys. The Angry Beavers, never really cared for that. I watched, I think, the first season, and I just wasn't really super into it. And Real Monsters, I never liked that show pretty much at all. If you are a 90s kid especially, let me know which was your favorite character, which is your favorite TV show, what do you miss most about the 90s, what was your favorite show on Nickelodeon, period. Not even like Nicktoons, just in general, what were some of your favorite shows, because there are just so many. Let me know in the comment section below if you recognized all of these characters, and maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't recognize a single one of them besides SpongeBob. Let me know how you did. And let me know in the comment section also, number 2, what is your favorite cartoon of all time? Or make a list of your top 3. I know that can be hard too. And it doesn't have to be Nickelodeon, you know, it could be The Simpsons. That was a great show. I also really liked King of the Hill. That was a fantastic show. So I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. I'm definitely going to be doing another Nickelodeon Nicktoons cartoon video. It'll probably be the same TV shows but different characters. If you like this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys next week.